Alright, hey guys. So this is a continuation from class. We were taking our tasks that we did for week 2 homework and adding MongoDB to it. So I basically just reset my repo back to what we had at the end of last week. So if I do a nodemon server.js, we're going to see tasks here. I can go ahead, add one, cross it out, remove it, all that fun stuff. And let's try that again. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. So everything is working as intended. So let's go ahead and add MongoDB to this. So here's I just copied week 2 tasks into here. So, and we're going to take our server.js. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add Mongoose to this. So we're going to import this. So Mongoose equals require Mongoose. And then we're going to go ahead and do a npm install Mongoose. So, and because I'm going to share this repo, I'm just going to do a -- save that adds it into my package.json. So it will be here as soon as it's done. Okay, there we go. So Mongoose. So if you guys clone this repo, you guys will just do an npm install and you'll have all these dependencies. So, okay, Mongoose is here. And I'm going to, again, clean up all this stuff here. And I'll just comment this. Setup express. And now here, we're going to go ahead and connect to I guess just set up Mongoose technically. That's what we're setting up. So we need our Mongoose connection string. I'm going to go ahead and just copy the examples that we did in class. So this whole thing here. But we can get this connection string from MLab. So if I go into my database. Okay, looks like it timed me out. No big deal. Okay, while that's going on, I'm just going to just cut and paste this string here. So this here is saying connect on the MongoDB protocol with username Sergi, password Sergi1 at this host and this port at the OKCoders database. So that's what our connection string is saying. So this is exactly the same here. So this is the connection string that we would use, right? So the same exact thing. MongoDB, DB user, DB password at the host, the port, whack the database. So now I have just one Sergi user here. So once that's set up, we're going to go ahead and set up our task model here. So I'm going to do mongoose.model. The name of our model is going to be task. And our model is going to have just 2 properties to it. We're going to have name, that's a string. And then we're going to have completed, that's a boolean. That's true or false. So again, we're going to delete our tasks array here because we're no longer going to use that. And now let's go ahead and turn all these things here basically from using tasks and being synchronous to asynchronous using Mongoose. So for getting our tasks, we're going to return task.find.execute. So we're going to just take all of our tasks, we're going to find them, execute just because find returns a query document essentially, because we can do a .sort, we can do a .start, a .limit, we can do all sorts of things with the query, and .exec.execute just means go ahead and return this, start running this query and return a promise. So first, let's do get tasks. Let's go down here to our whack tasks route handler, and we're going to go ahead and make this use the promise, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say get tasks dot then. This returns an array of tasks, and all I'm going to do is move our res.json inside and tell it to return tasks. So that's it. We're ignoring none of these things here have been changed over to use our use Mongoose or promises or anything, so we're just going to ignore those for just a second. So now if I go and refresh I see nothing because I forgot to restart my server here. Okay, so if I refresh, I see get tasks, nothing, right? So fantastic. And we see, notice that I can see indeed it is using my database because look how long it takes to get my tasks. It takes 33 milliseconds. So obviously the server is not returning this automatically. So it's going out to the database and coming back. So okay, so now that's working. We can actually go ahead and prove this is using our database because I can go into RoboMongo. Here's my MLab, my OKCoders database, my tasks collection here. And sorry, I am uploading the today's class YouTube video, so internet is a little bit slow. But I see that I have 0 records, so I can go ahead and insert one here. And I'm going to say name is going to be test. And I should be able to refresh this, and I should see test. Fantastic. So obviously, I just clicked on it, and notice I'm getting 500 errors on the server. So reference error tasks isn't defined. That's okay. We haven't done any of that stuff yet. So the next thing after get tasks, we're going to fix add task. So before we were creating a task object and then pushing it onto our tasks array. So we can do something very similar here. We're going to use our task object, but we're going to say task equals new task with a capital T because we're using our model here and pass task back into it. So finally, what we're going to do is return task.save. So, and then like we discussed in class, we're no longer going to use this ID. We're just going to use the MongoDB ID that gives us this underscore ID. So that's what we're going to use. So we don't really need to keep this code here, this ID of task.length plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So, and as with task.find, task.save is going to return a promise. So this whole thing here returns a promise, which unfortunately my IDE isn't aware of that. That's okay. So let's go ahead and change this here to user promise. So obviously if this runs right now, this would technically work, but it's going to add the task, send it off to the database server, and then immediately start running get tasks. So, and get tasks is going to get the data from the server before this actually finishes, and we're going to have a race condition. So let's go ahead and fix that. So we're going to call add task. Then let's call get tasks. Then we're going to go ahead and get our tasks and send that to res.json. So, okay, so let's give this a whirl now. So if I refresh this, add one. Okay, awesome. So here's our post request for it that added our task name of 1, and then this is what the server returned. So fantastic. So add task is done. We still need to do toggle and delete. So toggle and delete, we basically have to find the task, right? Before we were saying the tasks array dot find the first element in that array that has an ID property that matches whatever ID is passed in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a get tasks function. So function get task, pass it the ID, and we're going to return task.find1 of ID dot execute. So this will return one task. So what this is going to look like now is return get task of ID dot then task, and we're going to first do the same thing here. We're going to check, make sure that the task exists, because if our front end was stale, wasn't in sync with the server, then we could return a task that doesn't actually exist. So we want to just bail out if that happens. So, and then we want to do the exact same thing because we're toggling the completion flag of the task. We're just going to say task.completed equals bang, task.completed, and finally we're going to return task.save, which returns a promise. And then we can get rid of this old code here. And now again, we're going to update our route handler. So now remember, before we actually were using a numeric ID. Now we're no longer going to do that. We're going to just use underscore ID. So, and we can change this ID property that the front end sends to be underscore ID as well. We didn't do that in class. So if we look at toggle task, we're using ID and we're passing in ID. We can keep doing that. That's okay. That's not a big deal. I just don't want you guys getting confused with ID and underscore ID. So because ID is our own construct that we created, and underscore ID is built into MongoDB. So here we're going to toggle this task, and we're going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to get all the tasks when it's done, and then return them as JSON to the request. So, and let's go ahead and change our front end to pass in this pass us the actual underscore ID, because right now, if we look at our display tasks, when it creates the task ID attribute on each LI element, it's using task.id. So all we need to do is change this to just underscore ID. So now if we refresh our front end, we should see tasks that have, okay, underscore IDs, and if we inspect this, we should see a task ID attribute of the object ID, so of the actual underscore ID. So fantastic. So I should be able to click this and it should toggle completed. Very good. Okay, so let's see what we did wrong. So we're still must be an object. Oh, okay. So on our server side here, so whenever my get task here, I screwed up. I did find one. This here takes a query object. So this is going to say underscore ID must be ID. We also have another thing that we can use instead of find one and doing this. We can just say find by ID of ID. So Mongoose has all these little shortcut helper methods that we can use. So, okay, that's reset. Let's refresh this and try this again. So test, so awesome. So I can click it and these things will toggle completed. So, and let's go ahead and do the same thing with our delete. Let's turn that, change that to use Mongoose and MongoDB. So toggle. So we're going to use basically the same thing, because notice that our delete is doing something very similar, right? We're finding the task, we're getting the index, we're checking, making sure it actually exists, and then we're going to splice it out. So I'm going to basically take the exact same code that we did for our toggle task here, but here instead of doing task.completed equals bang task.completed and return task.save, we want to remove this, and we're just going to return task.remove. So in Mongoose, it makes it super, super easy. And then let's go ahead and change our route handler. So again, we're going to remove the plus from our delete task, and we're just going to change this to do the exact same thing here. We're going to, as soon as delete task is done, we're going to get all the tasks, and then we're going to send them back as JSON. So now if we refresh this, I should be able to delete. Fantastic, look at that. And we've added a MongoDB support in, wow, under 15 minutes. That's really fantastic. So really quick, while I have this, I'm going to change this around just a little bit. So I'm going to add 1, 2. Oh, let's actually prove that I can go ahead and have duplicate ones. Because before, what we had issue that we were using the name property and they weren't unique. So obviously now everything is unique. I want to do one more thing, is if I mark it as completed, I want it to go to the bottom. So I want to sort this before I get it back. So with Mongoose, it's really easy. On our get tasks here, after we find it, I'm going to do a dot sort, and I am going to sort by completed, ascending. So I just click on one of these, and that one should go to the bottom. So here, let's add a couple more things in here. And so, okay, awesome. And we can go ahead and change this. So everything that, so it stays in more or less the same order. We can say sort by completed ascending first, and then sort by name. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So backcat 112. So I can take one of these, mark it complete. It'll go to the very bottom, and everything will always be alphabetical. So, and that is it, guys, for this video. I'll go ahead and commit this, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much.